Auntie Sue here, and if I talk very fast, it's because I am on a nicotine buzz, along with my 4 or 5 caffeine cups of coffee. It's one of Paul's pipes. It's probably one of the first ones I ever got from him. It's a little brandy. Her name is Franny. And yes, I name most of my pipes. Since it's been a while since I started on YouTube and a lot has happened and my channel changed from being a happy, silly, goofy channel into kind of an informative about Danny selling pipes and stuff, I've decided to start all over again. So here is my reintroduction into the YouTube community. My name is Sue. How do you do? My mama came from Kentucky, so sometimes I have a little problem with that. In that if I'm around my relatives and I pick up that accent, you know, I'll say things like, this is Sue, may I help you? So I have to be careful. But I do have that Kansas accent, which is no accent. Oh, way off track. And that's one of the things you're going to find out if you watch my channel very often, is that I am off focus all the time. In this, I had some 965. And there's a sad story about my 965 this morning. I had some in one of my 10s. My 965 10, and I dropped it on the deck. Now it's only 7 o'clock in the morning. Actually, it's a little bit before 7, but I'm always up before 7. And the deck is damp. So all my 965, I thought, well, I'll try to get some of it up. Couldn't. Of course, it was damp, and there wasn't that much in it, and just like milk, it just spread everywhere. And as I'm trying to sweep it up, it's sticking to the deck because the deck is damp. So, great, I get to wash off my 965 later on today. I don't like doing that. You should never wash your tobaccos. But it is getting down to the end of its little bowl here, and my favorite lighters. I can't get them in Kansas for some reason. Some areas maybe, but not anywhere over here, so I have to go over to Missouri to get my lighters. So, I was going to reintroduce myself because, like I say, for a while there, the channel hasn't been my channel. My name is Sue. How do you do? Or if I'm around my folks, very often I say, may I help you? My nickname is Sue Dunham. I have a reason for that, and that is because from the time I was a kid, I started collecting Dunhill pipes. I belonged to the White Spot Society from let's see, I was 4. So about 1955, my dad introduced me into pipe world. My mom's family raised tobacco. So I grew up in tobacco fields. I grew up around tobacco warehouses, and I loved it, you know. It's in my cells. And then my dad's family, they came from Briar. He was a Briar broker, and I know that sounds really weird, but back in the 50s and the 60s, that was not uncommon to have someone go out and buy the Briar futures on trees, and that's what they did. Then they would take and turn around and they would sell them to other companies. Now, you got to go remember how far back we go. I got my first Dunhill when I was 4 years old. And so here's how that happened. I liked my daddy. My daddy used to monster-proof us, and I'll tell you that story, and, you know, the dancing in the barley fields and stuff. What no one understands is it's changed so much. All of you younger generations, I mean, you're not seeing the fields of tobacco that was prevalent back then. But then everybody was selling cigarettes. Cigarettes was a great big deal. And it became a bigger deal through the years, and then it started backing off because of the agents that they started adding into the tobacco, which made them carcinogenic, which in turn began to harm people more. I'm not saying that tobacco won't harm you. I'm just saying that cigarettes, e-vapes, and stuff like that, they have additives to them. In order for the... Oh, I am getting ready to load up another pipe. The reason, like I say, the reason that they're so bad is because you didn't leave the tobacco alone. I'm getting ready to break up so I can smoke some 2014 Dunhill Flake, and it was beautiful. when I opened it, it hadn't yet started forming its little sugar specks on it, and usually that doesn't really seem to happen, especially in these tins. After about year 8 to 12 years is actually when you really start seeing little sugar flakes in these tins. Now, sometimes there's always, every time you say that isn't always true. There's always those cases, but the paper that they put it in, which is just slightly a wax paper, I think kind of retards that from happening as quickly, like I say. But that's just what I have noticed over, the 40 years of smoking that I've been doing in the special Dunhill flake tins. I'm not talking about anything in the big packages. I'm not talking about Sam Garth, guys, which just his, oh God, his just golden Virginia flake. Man, it gets so sweet and so beautiful so fast. But I love Dunhill pipes. I love Dunhill tobacco. When I was 4 years old, and so I just take these flakes, and they've been very dry. I let some dry out on purpose. And I just rub them. I break them into smaller little pieces. And I actually have gloves that I use most of the time. But I will just take those flakes, break them up, and do a rub like that. And that'll break them down for my pipe. And I'm going to put it into another pipe of Paul's. I just happened to bring out Paul's today. And I brought out Dr. Graybo too. I don't have I look in my cabinet and I smell. And that kind of decides for the day what kind of tobaccos I want. And then I look at the pipes, and depending upon what my day is going to be, that's kind of the pipes I pick. I always have an everyday carry that has a Dunhill, a Peterson, 2 or 3 tobaccos, and all of my implements of destruction in those cases. And those are always packed and ready to go. But when I'm at home, I'll pack 3 or 4 at a time, because that's what I will smoke during a 2 or 3 hour period. Someone once asked me how much tobacco you smoke a day, and we couldn't really figure it out. And they said, well, how many pipes do you smoke? And I said, well, probably, 9, 12. And he called me a liar. And then it turned out I actually smoked more than that. But you also got to realize, and this is another one. Oh, this is a beautiful pipe, and the sun's not out really enough so you can see it. It's Purple Haze. One of Paul's little pipes again. You can see that it has a smaller bowl. These he makes for me. It's a small pipe. I say, he knows what I wanted to do. I wanted to set just like that, and he's got my measurements down, so, and he's made quite a few pipes for me. And this was a gift, though. This was a gifted pipe because it was so purple and everything. Anyway, so packing. I use the baby method, which is I put it about 2/3 full, and I slightly pack it down by going around the edges and pack it down. I don't pack the middle. I only pack the edges. That's the baby bear. Then I do the mama bear, which is, I fill it once again about 2/3 full. If not, it sticks up a little bit, but that's just because I left that a little rough. And then I do the mama bear, which is just a little bit tighter than that baby bear push was. And then I do the papa bear, and I fill the pipe up with what's usually left. And then I punch very hard, but you'll notice I always leave my fingernail edge against that edge, because that's where the and then I just barely tap it in. Reason I do that, everybody's got different reasons for how they pack a pipe. A lot of times what I do is I just stick my pipe in the bag, put the tobacco in there inside of the bag, and pull it out, pressing it through the baggie, because I don't want to get my hands dirty. So, and that's why I like Bullseye Flake, because you can take one of those and just fold it up and put it in your pipe and you're fine. Boy, did we get off focus on that. So after you do, like say, The thing about me is I like to leave it so that the very center of my pipe is not packed as tight as my edges are. And that makes that first original light that you're lighting that pipe go all the way down into the little bit deeper into that tobacco. So it kind of can burn a little bit more even. But everybody has different ways of doing it. And here's what I found out about loading a pipe. There's no wrong way. The only wrong thing you can do is light a Dunhill with something besides a match. Sometimes people will see me wet my my edge, and that's just because I don't want my edges to burn as quickly, and that seems to save them just a little bit longer. My dad used to lick his cobs, you know, go before he'd light them. And of course, I don't know really what you can say about a Dunhill flake other than, boy, isn't it perfect? Gives you a nice, you know, it's just the nice blends of tobacco, a nice easy smoke, especially when it's aged a little bit. I'm not much on reviewing tobaccos because I haven't really met too many tobaccos that I don't like. But this was made in Denmark, you know, and I guess that's, you know, I love tobacco. This is when Pipe Chef 70s. He was doing a thing where he was, it was like a charity. It was wonderful to be able to donate and get such a nice thing. Thank you. So, I'm going to run out of time on this one. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Let's start all over again. Next time I'll tell you how I got started lighting them. I told you I was going to tell you how I started smoking a pipe, so I'm going to have to tell you that on the next video.